What's up, guys? It's your boy He'll Talk to Me back with another video. First of all, I just want to give my condolences to the families of the victims who were lost almost a year ago with the tragic shooting at the midnight premiere of The Dark Knight Rises. I know it's not quite been a year yet, but it's been on my mind with Man of Steel coming out, and I just got finished watching The Dark Knight Rises. I'm on Blu-ray, and while it's in my mind, I just wanted to do it. I wanted to do like an anniversary post, but like I said, while it's fresh in my head, I'm gonna get this out. I wasn't at that showing. I don't live in Colorado. I live in Michigan, and I went to AMC Livonia 20, which is a local theater here, and I actually went to the Dark Knight Rises marathon. I think it was an AMC thing. And I don't know if AMC exists, and I'm sure it exists all over the nation, but it was quite intense. I must admit, I've been to many midnight showings through my lifetime, and since they've been having them now, one of the first ones I remember, not to get off subject, but was The Matrix Reloaded. That was the first real, so it's been about a good 10 years that this midnight thing has been going on with huge premieres and stuff like that. I think really that's the movie that started it all. But back on track, I was there, and it was 3 movies. They had Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Now, Batman Begins started at 6, ran to about 8:15 or so. Then we had like a 20-30 minute intermission. So about 8:45, The Dark Knight played. So you have 9:45, 10:45, 11. Yeah, that's about right. About 8:15, 8:20, The Dark Knight, and then of course 12:01, The Dark Knight Rises came out. Now, I'm probably gonna do a separate post because thinking about it now, I'm just thinking about so much that day, and I'm just gonna express my thoughts about the trilogy, the marathon, and the shooting, as what happened and my reaction to it. I know this is quite old, but still. So it starts at 6, and you had people dressed up as Batman and the Joker and Bane, and it was quite entertaining. So it starts at 6. We watched that. Now, I thought this is how you can tell these were diehard Batman fans, because how many times have we seen these movies? As a Batman fan myself, how many times have I watched Batman Begins? I myself have a tradition of New Year's Eve having my own personal marathon, and ever since Batman Begins came out, I actually started before The Dark Knight. I have a thing where I watch movies before a sequel comes out. So Transformers, when Dark of the Moon came out, I watched the first 2, and so on and so forth. So you get the idea. So I have a New Year's tradition to watch them, and actually last year was my first one. Of course, were all 3 movies, of course, because they were out. So The Dark Knight Rises came out before the new year. So anyway, back to the marathon. We got this cool little. You got to see it in IMAX, or you got to see it in regular, the regular movies. So the IMAX ticket was like $50, I think, and the other one was $30. And it didn't include any popcorn, any drinks, but you did get this cool chain. If I would have thought about it before I started this video, I would have got it. So when I do my review, I guess I'll show you. You got this cool chain, and it had it wasn't a chain, but it was like a necklace, or just go over your neck, and it had that. So when you came out of the movie theater, you can kind of walk around, and people were like, you could walk around, and that identified that you were here for the next freaking 7, 8, 9 hours or so. So, and if you got an IMAX, at the bottom, it had a blue strip. It said IMAX on it. So anyway, that was cool. You got a poster, things like that. So anyway, so that happens, and we laughed at the same parts. Like, I really didn't, but like the really, truly dorky people were laughing at parts you knew were coming. Like, I'm going to show you a magic trick. That part, and just everything, especially The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was just ha ha ha, laughter everywhere, because of course the Joker. So anyway, now I took the whole week off because I knew I was going to see it at midnight. So I took the entire week off, 7 days, and it was like it was just, that's what I do. That's what I do. So to avoid trying to take the day off or trying to get a day of annual or take a day off and have to fight with other people, I just took the whole week off. So The Dark Knight Rises start. It is silent in a theater. Silent. So it's about 12:01, 12:02. And at this point, I'm exhausted. I've been there since 6 o'clock, actually before 6, but I've just finished watching 2 movies. It's, midnight and I'm struggling to stay up. I mean, I'm like, and I was, so excited and so sleepy that the first time I saw it, first of all, AMC has pretty decent sound, but I wish I would have seen it like in Imagine for the first time, because Bane's voice was a lot clearer at Imagine Theater. I think their sound is much more awesome than AMC. And so it wasn't like the prologue where you could not understand what he was saying 6 months earlier, but it was still kind of like, if he talked real fast, you couldn't really understand what he was saying. So, but plus me being sleepy and everything, I was like, I don't, whatever. I'm just going to roll with it. So anyway, it's going and going and going. And I'm just thinking about, reminiscing how awesome the experience was, even from when Bane and Batman met the first time. It was not a peep in the theater, not a gasp, not a sound, not a text message, not a cell phone, not a squeak. It was so quiet in the theater that you could just feel everybody's emotion when he was getting his butt kicked. Now, of course, you knew it was going to happen a year earlier when Harry Potter came out and you saw the trailer and he was all stumbling around. And then, of course, Bane equals Batman equals Nightfall, crack your back, all of that stuff. So you already knew it was coming. But to anticipate this movie and to see it happen was one thing. And to know that it was happening, it still didn't like make it happening any easier for us Bat fans to take. It was tough, and I remember sitting there like, whoa. Me personally, I liked the fight. A lot of my friends said it was slow and it was like, like 2 old ladies fighting. And I was just like, I didn't see it like that, because Batman style from Batman Begins, it's real slow, it's super slow. So I personally enjoyed the fight scene. It was my favorite part of the movie by far. Still is my favorite part of the movie, because it's just so Batman. One guy fighting another guy, and it's who Batman is. He's not a Superman. He doesn't have superpowers and stuff like that. So anyway, Dark Knight Rises goes on. I'll talk about the movie later, but now it's just my experience of the movie and of that day. And so it goes on and it's over. So everybody claps or whatever, and it was cool. Now, there were still other showings of The Dark Knight, but our theater, we had one theater to ourselves. So IMAX had a theater, the regular viewing had a theater. So it was still people in the theater watching The Dark Knight Rises. So, or no, I take that back. I don't think it was. Everyone was let out at the same time, because the 12, that makes sense, because 12:01, but it was so, I can't remember. I want to say it was like, not only just, there was a 12:01 showing, but it was like showings for a while, not just at 12:01, but like they had maxed all their 12:01 theaters out. So it was probably 12:02, 12:03. I don't really remember. All I know is that when I got into my car, it was 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, it was so congested in the theater, in the parking lot, that some people, this was a Thursday night. So some people slept in their cars. Some people, I remember I didn't get out of the parking lot till after 4. Now, mind you, I left the theater at 3, but it was so crowded to get out that I didn't leave the parking lot till 4. I didn't get home till about 4:30, and I have 2 small children, so they woke up early and everybody's going on. Now, my wife at the time, she, all of this stuff was planned and all that stuff. So I woke up and first thing I do is just check my cell phone. And on my cell phone, it was everybody I work with, because they all know I'm a huge Batman fan. And they knew this. I've been talking about it. They laughed at me, whatever. But they started texting me. Did you hear about what happened? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Some people got shot at Batman. What? So I immediately asked my wife, and she's like, yeah, I heard something. I'm like, what? Turn on the news, and of course it's everywhere. And I don't know about you, but my heart was hurt. I was hurt. I was upset. I was angry because I knew that this movie was going to be known now for the shooting and the massacre, and you couldn't just enjoy the movie. And I thought about myself, like all those people who went just to enjoy a movie and who now, almost a year later, their families are no doubt preparing for some type of vigil or something like that to honor the ones that have fallen. And how you go to the movies, you do something you enjoy, and you can not walk out. And on top of that, it's like the biggest movie of the year, the most anticipated movie of the year, I should say. And this is what happens. Now it's going to be known and synonymous with this massacre from this insane individual who took all the attention away. And I looked at it, and I don't know what happened because he's kind of faded out of the spotlight or whatever. But I looked at it as this guy, his whole purpose was to hurt people. But second to that was to take all the attention from The Dark Knight Rises and the release of it. And if you think about it, and this is probably another video, this conversation, but the hype train was ridiculous for The Dark Knight Rises. It was so bad that I think it actually hurt the movie. I didn't know Heath Ledger's death was so crucial to The Dark Knight. I really did not believe that it was going to make The Dark Knight at the time the second highest grossing movie of all time. I did not know that. I did not know that his death was going to make the movie run for 9 months in the theater. I did not know that his death was going to make The Dark Knight allow it to make almost $600 million in the States. That was just over here. It made over $1 billion, and eventually The Dark Knight Rises topped it by a few, but you have to take into account inflation and all that. So, and that, the hype train was not the same as The Dark Knight Rises. It was like, okay, 3 years ago, Batman Begins came out. It was awesome, but a lot of people were like, it was okay. But then the Joker, then Heath Ledger, and then his death 6 months earlier just catapulted the movie. And I didn't realize how much until it had came out. But for The Dark Knight Rises, I do believe that the hype, the anticipation after a megaton success of The Dark Knight, this movie was so overblown by the marketing, the anticipation meter. I mean, Chris Nolan has a habit of showing films, trailers and stuff, teasers a year earlier, and then this little itty bitty, process of releasing trailers up to the movie. And it just, to me, the hype train was out of control. So I just wanted to reflect on and share my thoughts with you guys of The Dark Knight Rises, the anticipation part, the movie going experience, and having just watched it